Seasonal changes affect us more than we realize. The shorter days, darker mornings, and cooler night, they are all quietly shaping our mood and energy. As someone who's experienced seasonal depression and also have a background in counseling, I've learned how much our environment can influence our mental health. In today's video, I am sharing how I have beat the winter blues and what I've learned from my previous years to make this space more peaceful and a little bit more intentional during this season. And I will also share how my plant room will be doing an intentional job of that this year. I moved here from South Florida, the Sunshine State, to northern Indiana, where the sun here feels non existent during this time. My first year here, I cried a lot. James would come home for lunch. I was not working yet. We lived in a different part of town, and I would be sitting on the couch crying, telling him I still don't see the sun today. Very dramatic, but it's very true. Up here in northern Indiana, the sun hides in what is called the permacloud, aka permanent cloud, permacloud. I learned that I think like my second year of living here, that perma cloud meant permanent cloud. I've never experienced such a dramatic change in light and temperature ever in my life. Every year feels like a new test. So here are some things I've learned during fall and winter of living here for 10 years. This is our third home since I've lived here. Every year I feel there's different changes, but now that we're in this house for the third winter, this will be our third winter. I have 2 winters behind me in this house, so I feel that it's going to be better. I always have to make adjustments every year because I don't know what the winter is going to bring and how my body will react. I started using a happy light every morning during my second year living in Indiana, and I used that happy light for 4 years. I no longer need a happy light because I have this amazing plant room. Now I don't need that happy light anymore since I have this plant room. The fact that driving to work in the dark and coming home in the dark definitely played a number on my mood. But the happy light for the first 4 years definitely did help that. And now that I have this amazing plant room with grow lights and I work from home, it helps a lot. Exposure to bright light early in the morning can boost your serotonin levels and regulate your circadian rhythm. So that is one of the reasons why I love my grow lights. Now it's still dark here, 8 o'clock, around 8:30 we start getting some light, but my grow lights turn on at 8 o'clock and I'm usually already in the plant room working, and that lifts my mood so much just to have that bright light, which is why I don't need the happy light anymore because of my plants. Now, the happy light, that small tiny change made a big difference for the first 4 years. So now the thing that I'm doing different this year that I did not do last year or the year before, I am going to be keeping my favorite plants and high interest plants always in sight when I come into the plant room. They're the first thing that I see when I come into the plant room, and usually the last thing I see when I go to bed at night. And there is actually a science to that. Our brains will connect familiar positive visuals with calm and safety. And these small moments of joy will definitely add up over time during the season. I used to see plant care as chores in a more negative way where watering, wiping leaves, and repotting can feel a little daunting. Sometimes I still feel I do that, making plant chores feel a little daunting. But during this season, I'm making a mindful shift in the way I think about plant chores. Now I'm going to be thinking of it as plant therapy. It's going to be my intentional effort to slow down, be mindful of my time, and be present. I'm looking forward to it. And the next thing, one of the biggest lessons I learned to do this year is to prep before the season. Before it gets even colder here and before the more lower light will set in, I'm doing all the big plant chores now. My big major plant chores is getting tackled before officially winter comes. And I feel like that's going to be a big game changer for me because usually when winter comes here, I deal with spider mites. So if I had to do all the other plant chores and deal with spider mites like I did last year, I lost a lot of plants. It was very stressful. So this year I'm making that change where I'm doing all the major stuff now. So once winter comes, I'm just gonna hang out with my plants. I'm gonna water, I'm gonna take care of plant leaves, I'm gonna watch them a little bit more. And then if there's spider mites, I'm a little bit more relaxed to take care of it. And the next thing, I've created a seasonal routine of what is really important to me. And number one on my list, I will talk about is sleep. And that is number one priority. During this time, sleep is very important. Our body naturally makes melatonin. Feeling it too, but around 5 o'clock, you start getting tired. But with all the screens, laptop, phones, television, it affects us and our bodies get confused. It's I'm not lying because it happens to me. I noticed if I'm on my phone a lot later and editing later, it affects my sleep. I don't sleep. If I go to bed just an hour later on my laptop editing a video for YouTube, even if I make it in the night mode, I still have disruption of my sleep and it takes me 3 days to readjust myself. And that's 3 days of extra stress that I really don't need to be going through. So, as a boundary this season, I am prioritizing sleep. So, I'm not going to be editing videos late at night anymore. I don't watch movies in the dark. If I'm watching a movie at night, I will have more house lights on versus that TV light because that flashing light definitely disrupt your body. I also set my grow lights to turn off sooner versus later. Once winter starts, the light will start getting a little bit every day. But now it is October. Once it's just getting darker and darker, and then it's just going to be so dark here for about a month. I can't handle it. How do people live here their whole life and not have to deal with this? I don't know. And just like us, plant also responds to light. It'll be my second time saying this word, and I'm so excited. It is called photoperiodism. The way the plant sense day length to regulate growth. That's why plants slow down a lot during winter because of the light changes. So mimicking those natural rhythms help me and my plants adjust gently during the season. So the next thing is grace over guilt. I need to remind myself often that not everything needs to be perfect. I am a planner, and having that planner kind of mind, you want everything to be perfect, but you know that nothing is going to be perfect and you really have to be okay with that. Some plant leaves are going to yellow, some plants will flower and smell really bad in this plant room. A lot of plants in my plant room will slow down. I have learned to be okay with that. I don't always have to see dramatic growth going on with my plants, and definitely don't have to see dramatic growth going on for me. So choosing grace over guilt when nothing is perfect, just like how we give a lot of grace to our plants, we need to give grace to ourselves. And when I'm doing plant care, I'm using that, like I said earlier, as plant therapy, but I'm actually really making notes and reflecting, asking myself some questions. And these questions, so I'm probably going to do a video of doing this in a plant room once winter comes. I'm going to make sure I do that with you guys. I'm going to be intentionally asking myself what brought me joy today, what plant brought me joy today, what event brought me joy today. You know, my husband and I do this thing every night. We've been doing it for 10 years. We tell our 3 things we are thankful for. And then he shares something he loves about me, and I share something I loved about him. So the 3 things came about. I feel like in a relationship, there's one person that shares a lot and one person that doesn't. So I'm the one that shares, and James is the one that doesn't a lot. So when I first got married, my first year, I have experience in counseling. So I came up with the 3 things we're thankful for as an indication to find out kind of what he's thinking, what he's really thankful for, and then use that excuse to build conversations. So it is the same thing I do even in the plant room. I'm a very reflective person. I journal. I keep my mood in check at most times. Not all the time. I'm not perfect, but I try to be mindful of how I'm feeling and how I'm doing during like a not good season, a not good day, all that. So that's something I do. I do self checks on myself and use plant care as plant therapy to ask yourself questions. So my plant room does not stay the same. I'm always rearranging, shifting things around, and sometimes we have to do that for ourselves. So every winter season does get a little better, but every year is still different, and I feel like this year I'm even more prepared for what's coming versus last year or the year before. But every year does get better for me. And then looking back, thinking about that first day when James came home for lunch to find me on the couch crying, waiting for sunshine, to today, I've come very far. Wellness isn't consistent, it moves and changes with us. So, and that is what I want to leave you with today. Your space, your plans, your own habits. You make adjustment as you need to cope with the season because your mental wellness does matter. So, as we move into the darker months, I hope you find some ways to bring a little light to your space and also yourself. We may slow down, but that does not mean we stop growing. I would love to hear how you're preparing your plant space for winter and how you're taking care of yourself this season. Share it below so we can all encourage each other through the months ahead. For a little extra inspiration during the season, head over to my Patreon. I share plant care, wellness journals, and the little extra plant stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and always remember you are loved. It's actually been snowing for the past 3 days. All right, goodbye.
Peace out.